Hi everybody, this is Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today's featured violin is the Louis Carpini Master Series. Now we sell different grades of Carpinis, and we've been selling Carpinis for a long time. I mean, I don't know, maybe 25 years at this point. And the Carpinis are always a favorite, right? There's teachers all around the United States and a lot of players. They love the Carpinis because they generally provide a ton of violin for the money. They usually are really responsive. They have a warm sound. Now, the Master Series in particular represents basically the best that Carpini can make. So you've got one maker, and he's a master maker, and he spent a lot of time on this instrument. So that means a lot of time has been spent on the internal carving of the violin. So not only was a lot of time spent on the internal carving, but the carving on the violin was determined by the nature of the wood. So you're not just making a bunch of violins and having the thicknesses and graduations be all exactly the same. When you have a master instrument, what the luthier is doing, the violin maker, is that he's actually carving that wood to a thickness that's determined by the nature of that wood. How dense is it? What are the grain patterns? So that's really one of that little details that really separate a master instrument from anything else, and it's how that particular piece of wood is maximized. So the violin in particular, so I'll just go through a few of the characteristics. So the top, of course, is going to be absolute best AAA tight grain spruce. It's probably going to be aged, at least 10, 15 years, if not 20 years. The back of the violin is going to be really top quality AAA maple, and it's going to be highly figured. It's going to have beautiful flame. Could be one piece, could be two piece, but it's going to be a beautiful piece of wood, and there's going to be a lot of shading in the instrument, be slightly antiqued a lot of the time, and the finish. Okay, so the finish is really something special on these instruments. So it's not only an oil finish, but it's a highly complex hand-applied finish that is multi-layers. So you'd never guess it by looking at the violin, but the finish has many, many layers to it, but the layers are so thin and applied very carefully over an extended period of time. You can actually touch the top of the violin and feel the grain in the spruce, even though there's so many layers of finish there. And what that does, when so much care has been put into that finish, is it allows that wood to vibrate. So the instrument is really resonant and it can really sing. So that's a big difference between the master instruments and everything else. And so it's really the time and care that was spent on the instrument. So some other things I'll point out, of course, the fittings are going to be top notch. You have the highest quality ebony, pegs and fingerboard and chin rest, and most of the time you're going to have, of course, that one fine tuner on the E string with that ebony tailpiece. Now, of course, if you wanted more fine tuners or you wanted some built-in fine tuners, you just let us know. We'll just stick it in there, no extra cost. Now, the setup on the Carpinis is the same with all of our violins. Even if you buy a really inexpensive violin, we're going to do the same professional setup on all our violins. So they're set up by us here in Washington State. So the final assembly and the setup is done by us in Washington State. In fact, behind me in this wall right now is a bunch of luthiers, and they are setting up instruments as we speak, right? So a lot of attention is placed on custom fitting this French Aubert bridge to this violin, right? The feet are going to fit perfectly. The arching is going to be just perfect. So the string spacing is really good. Double stops will be easy. String crossings will be easy. The string height is going to be just right. So so it works really well. The fingerboard is going to be planed really, really well. So you can play those fifths. We all know that playing fifths is hard to play in tune. You're going to play fifths in tune a lot easier on a master grade instrument. A lot of attention's been paid to that, the planing of that fingerboard. The nut, same deal. It's going to be perfect height, perfect shape, nice spacing between the strings. So really everything is maximized, and a setup is really important, right? You can take a good violin and ruin it, or have a great violin just be good if you don't do a proper setup. But it works in reverse. You can take a good violin and make it great, or have a great instrument and make it brilliant if you have a really, really good setup, because the setup is going to maximize whatever the potential is for that instrument. So we maximize the potential of every instrument, and we make it easier to play. So if you guys have any questions about our Master Series or any other violins in our lineup, just give us a call, contact us anyway. You know, we are all players and teachers. This is what we do. You know, I have lessons going on around me right now here in Washington. You know, we have teachers who are playing these instruments and they're playing them professionally in a local orchestra and stuff. So if you guys have any questions, just let us know. We can answer any questions you have and make sure that we put together whatever violin is that you want. So hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.